Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello race fans and welcome to the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship live here from Texas and the Circuit of the Americas, one of the most modern venues anywhere in the world. My name is Peter Mackay and joining me in the commentary box tonight on Apex Racing TV is Sam Fitzpatrick, bringing you all of these beautiful graphics and very jazzy images of COTA at the moment. It's Simile Kumo in our production booth. Sam, last week we had the twists and turns of the combined Nürburgring layout. We're going completely in the opposite direction tonight. We're on the west layout of COTA.
Yeah, we were discussing just before the broadcast whether or not we've ever done any broadcasts around this place. We haven't really. I mean, even COTA, the GP circuit, despite, as you say, being one of the most modern racing facilities in the world, almost certainly the most modern on iRacing, it's really not used that much, and this west layout even less so. However, it's possibly the best circuit for these TC cars. It's all corners apart from one straight, pretty much. They just slalom through the first part of the lap, then they use the cut through, and then they go through the very tight, twisty final section of the lap, and then onto that long pit straight. So it'll be quite different to anything that we've seen in the past.
That it will, of course. This Circuit of the Americas layout, a really, really impressive facility, but we'll get into that in a moment. As you can see, an absolutely dominant lead in the championship for Kieran Harrison right now. Over 150 points ahead of George Simmons for the Apex Racing team. Carl Janssen, the Super Swede, just behind Simmons, but only just a few rounds ago it was all to play for in the championship between Harrison and Janssen, and well, it's going to need a big comeback from either Simmons or Janssen to close that gap down. In fourth, Marcel T. Well, we can give some big congratulations to Marcel, Sam, because he clocked up a win in the top split of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring at the weekend.
Yes, a mighty achievement. Any special event win in the top split in any class is always impressive, but around the Nordschleife, of all places, absolutely mega. Congratulations to see him and his teammates, and it does just reaffirm as well that the quality of drivers. Marcel has improved, I think, as the season's gone on. You know, it does take a while to get used to this series with the 3 20-minute sprint races that we have. And yeah, Marcel is really starting to find his own. Here is the Amateur Championship. Mark Woodhouse and Ben Gregory. Gregory did take some points out 3 weeks ago now was the last round. Of course, we had to cancel the Nordschleife round 1 week ago. Otherwise, Gregory would have probably taken even more points out of that. But maybe just the momentum switching to the 213 in recent times. Those really do look like the top 2 who are going to be fighting for the championship. Of course, still prizes for the top 3, I believe, in the amateur category. So Glaskov, Fritsch, and Perry still with a lot. As we've just got 4 more rounds after this one. We've got a few kind of odd circuits around this part of the season. We've got COTA West, and then we've got Summit Point next time out. We've also got Le Mans, Long Beach, and Montreal as well as the season finale. So yeah, this is turning into the business end, and also, of course, the last 3 rounds of the championship can't be dropped. Even if you have a dribble run, they cannot be dropped. So maybe a little bit of respite for these drivers, but yeah, certainly, this is where the points start to count.
It certainly does, and as we can see at the top of qualifying right now, Kieran Harrison leading the way, a 138.728 at the moment in his number 1 HM Engineering machine. Roman Bogler, his teammate, sitting in second with Jack Sedgwick in third on the timesheets at the moment. And with this tight, twisty technical layout, it really does reward the driver, particularly in these TCR machines, Sam. They are a really fickle machine to get right, and it takes a long time to develop the technique required to get the best out of these cars, and nothing more so than in a really kind of quite slow, quite technical layout than COTA West here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this isn't the longest circuit we'll visit all season long, but it's got a lot of different corner types. I mean, the S's at the start, and then of course you got these real tight, twisty corners, the slow speed corners. That feels tricky to brake there as well. You can just see Bogler kind of locking up those tyres, but not locking them up too much that he went too wide. And then going through the reverse turkey turn 8. We could talk about this circuit layout for hours, but I do think of this place as Tilke's dream of a race circuit. It's got absolutely all of the hallmarks. It's got, you know, inspiration from other legendary circuits. It's got a high-speed high-speed S's section. It's got a low-speed side-by-side section. It's got some long straights as well. I think this is kind of the pinnacle of his design, although, of course, many people may not like that.
Well, it's clearly the second coolest circuit in the world behind the Great Knock Hill in Fife in Scotland, because it was designed with consultation from really one of the coolest guys to ever have walked the planet, Kevin Schwantz, the 1993 500cc motorcycle world champion. Kevin Schwantz, a Texan native himself, an absolute genius on a motorbike. A Texan native himself, an absolute genius on a motorbike, and a very cool guy to boot. So clearly that puts it to nearly to the top of the list behind Knock Hill. What we need is Knock Hill to be extended slightly with a Kevin Schwantz section, like the Kevin Schwantz Stadium at Knock Hill. Then it would just be the ultimate circuit.
What you got to remember is that Knock Hill can be driven backwards, so it's immediately twice as good as every other circuit in the world.
Quite right. Yes.
So you know, bite that one. I don't think anyone can come up with a comeback from that.
Just not at the same time. If so, just stick to the left-hand side.
That maybe next season, special round. Let's see what happens.
I wonder actually if you'll be able to run it.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
I would imagine
Otherwise,
so.
I'm cancelling my sub if
So am
that's
I.
not the case.
Yeah, so am I.
And of course, there's a few different layouts as well. You can use the. I saw there's the. Is it the tri-oval where you got the hairpin at the
Yes.
back?
Pretty good for legend. Yeah.
Yeah, more like a track. It's absolutely tiny, but that's looks fun.
We used to have some fantastic Legends meetings there using the Tri-Oval. Really good racing, and actually, of course, the Rallycross circuit as well. So we could have a round of the iRacing World Rallycross Championship at Knockhill as well. It's not the centre of Scottish motorsport for nothing, Sam.
Well, exactly, and it's the competition it's had to beat in order to get to the top of that pile is long.
Esports,
yeah,
Trail.
tell me about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, not too many influence going in. Ascher recently went up to the 8th position, but it's still Harrison with that best time. Just a reminder, as I say every week, once those 15 minutes are up, you cannot finish the lap back to the pit. So Savidovic, I'm not sure. No, Savidovic won't make it round. I think it's a very slow end to the lap, of course. So he's only got about a third of the circuit to go, but he won't make it flat. So yeah, this should be the final order for the drivers.
I've got a bit of a claim to fame this week, Sam. I was in a Michelin Pilot Challenge race with Terry Flatten the other day, and I was in a GT4 car, and he out-qualified me in a TCR.
Wow.
That's how bad
wow.
I am. Or actually, no, that's not fair. That's how good Terry Flatten is. Anyway, let's look at the grid to see how they start up for this opening race of 3 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Kieran Harrison, the championship leader with the number 1 on the side of the car, qualifies on pole position alongside his HM Engineering teammate Roman Bokler. Row 2 sees Jack Sedgwick and Wojciech Swidowic. Row 3 will be Damian Harris and Corentin Guinness. George Simmons for the Apex Racing team starts 7th, with Martin Aschert starting 8th. Terry Flatten will start from 9th, with Vasily Zaitsev in 10th. Daniel Nagy and Marcel T, the 24 Hours of Nürburgring winner, start on the 6th row. Row 7 will be Fraser Smith and Norbert Leitner, followed by Igor Sherikov, Roman Perschke, Mikael Garcia, Ben Gregory, Craig Williams, and Oystein Herfer round out your top 20. Mark Woodhouse starts 21st, followed by Sergei Glazkov, Marcel Fritsch, and Martin Shirley rounding out your 12th row. Row 13 will be Toby Ward and Barry Glover, followed by Jack Tingy, Jason Cooper, Adam Bath, and Kevin Marshall-Say. And that rounds out our 30-car pack for today here at the Circuit of the Americas. It will be very, very busy out there as well. Lots of overtaking opportunities as well, and we'll see who's been putting in the practice this week, because I would imagine, Sam, there'll be a lot of drivers who are probably quite unfamiliar with this layout.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get lost. You need to have a bit more break when you go left through the S's instead of the traditional right. So yeah, there could be quite a difference there. I'm really interested to see where the drivers overtake. I'm kind of expecting the only overtaking spot to be at turn 1. But maybe that will change. Maybe it'll be impossible to overtake. Maybe we'll see overtakes galore. We really don't know about this one. And look at that grid as well. It's like a slalom. It's like a couple of snakes slithering through the Texan desert. So I don't know why that's the case.
That's a fantastic metaphor there, Sam. I love it. Lights are coming up here, and out they go. We're racing in Texas for round 1 of 3 here at the Circuit of the Americas in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. It's an excellent start from Kieran Harrison. He has Sedgwick trying to make a move for it as well. George Simmons in there too. Roman Bokler started from the front row of the grid. Can he maintain that second spot? Yes, he can. And here comes Corentin Guinness. Great start for the Frenchman, and George Simmons has got his hands full with Sedgwick and Guinness as they come through the swooping S's back and forth, and buff! Contact already. Whoa, and contact again. A little bit of a domino effect, and Simmons goes around. Cedric's there as well. Damian Harris got contact too. Oh, dear me, and it looks like Jack Cedric might have some damage on the front right of that car, Sam.
Yeah, that would be game over.
Simmons.
Yeah, slow down for Simmons, I guess. He's done well to pick up that one. Oh, we got that's couple of the drivers going in contact left, right, and centre there as they go into the hairpin. So terrible start for those guys, but brilliant start for HM Engineering up in the top 3 positions at the moment. So absolutely mighty for them. Woodhouse getting ahead of Gregory in all that. Great start for Woodhouse as he goes for a couple of overtakes. Oh, he hits Williams. He absolutely saves it like a hero right there. And slow on the inside was Pershk there. Oh, as now there's contact as one who almost missed his braking zone at the hairpin. Hairpin muscling his way through there, and it's gone quite sour for Woodhouse very quickly. He's lost out to Gregory.
It has, yes, it certainly has. He's just had the discovery that he's got wormwood, or what is it that you get that infects wood in the house? It's like an infection you get. Rot, rotwood, yeah, rot, yeah, it's the Woodhouse is rotting. Ben Gregory leads the way in AM in 17th overall, so 16 cars, all in the pro class leading the way. But as you mentioned, Sam, perfect start for HM Engineering, 1-2, but Leitner in 8th, so not too far behind either. But I tell you what, I think we're going to see in that particularly tight section, sort of at the middle of the lap, I think we're going to see a lot of drivers going for the big send into there. And that could actually spread the pack out a little bit. Bombing, and of course, as long as you're ahead of the dive-bombed car, then you'll get away.
Yeah, and it's single file as well through there. So if you do try to run it side by side somehow, then either you're going to get a slowdown or you're going to hold each other up a lot. So you're absolutely right. As that was that Lightning just getting past there. It's 8-7 now. Aschert trying to defend from Fraser Smith. Can he be able to cut off Smith? Oh, he just about doesn't. I think Fraser will be too happy about that one. Say what you will about this final sector, it's pretty rubbish to drive, but it's terrific. Around the outside of the other driver. Of course, with the run-up you can get as well. You can afford to just other driver. Of course, with the run-up you can get as well. You can afford to just run a little bit wide, so it should be a good battling through there. As of the timing tower, the drivers constantly highlighting red as they go all 4 wheels off the circuit through that penultimate corner. Very common occurrence there. As Simmons on the recovery drive, he's up past Smith, he's up into 10.
Yeah, good stuff so far from George Simmons. At the beginning, a little bit of a chain reaction really between himself and Jack Sedgwick, who see where Jack is on. I think he's right down the order with damage, so it'll be a long night now for Jack Sedgwick to come back from that. Oh, big puffs of smoke coming through the hairpin at turn 1. As you can see from our SDK Gaming graphics, on the top right hand side of your screen, you see our track map. You see the little red and blue M&Ms just going around the circuit. Red ones, those are the pro cars, and blue are the AM cars. As Damien Harris getting very, very cozy with Vasily Zaitsev there, who's going to have to be careful rejoining. Goodness me, and George Simmons gets another bash there as well, and surely Zaitsev will have to serve a slowdown, and oof, looks like he's got a puncture actually, has Zaitsev, either that or collapsed suspension. Either way, it's not good. Yeah, looks like a collapsed suspension actually. That's really not good news at all. But as you can see, the first, second and third cars, all HM Engineering, leading the way right now. And Terrier Flatt and Sam kind of in the middle of the two kind of main groups.
Yeah, that contact earlier on between Simmons and Sedgwick really caused a divide in the order. Otherwise, I think we would have had kind of like a top 5. And I think it kind of held up Flatson and Naj as well behind. So, yeah, it really has changed the dynamic of this race. I didn't realise that Lightning's gone up 8 places so far. I mean, what a race it's been for HM Engineering, as Gregory and Woodhouse are alongside. Rich and Zaitsev as well, battling one another, although Zaitsev, of course, with that puncture or suspension problem, is just dropping down the order. There is Gregory's been able to hold off Woodhouse right there. And they got Oyston Hereford just ahead. By the way, Garcia just set the fastest first sector of anyone for some reason. I'm not quite sure how he did that. That came out of nowhere, but highlighted purple on our screens.
We love the purple on the timing screen. That's always a satisfying thing to see drivers going as quick as they possibly can. Ben Gregory leading. He's really mounting a recovery in this AM Championship, but right behind him he's got Mark Woodhouse, the AM class championship leader at the moment, and the positions in those classes vitally important. Now, looks like there's been a bit of an issue here for Toby Ward. Looks like he's gone off the circuit. Let's have a look.
So this is Tingy with him up the inside into this very wide turn 1, and when you're on a single motor, it's very tricky to see the apex ahead. And Tingy will be saying that he didn't see wars on his outside, but not sure where he expected war to be there. And contact between the two, it's set back the British driver quite a bit, but I think Tinju might even be slowing down here just to let his rival back past after that contact beforehand. So good sportsmanship there. Glasgow just for a moment managed to get ahead of Woodhouse, but he's back behind, and also Fitch just getting past Glover for 20th place. Here we go. And Fitch up into that 20th position then. Usually one of the top running, as Harris is having an issue. Oh, he's coming into the pit. Now, we did see Harris have that problem a few laps ago. I wonder if he's picked up a meatball, Peter, and maybe now has to come into the pits, or maybe if he just goes straight to the pits, maybe he can serve a slowdown, or I'm not sure.
There are a few things that the drivers can get a
he's got
penalty
an
for.
instant penalty.
Yeah, I was about to say, wow, that's quite impressive to reach 16 incident points after 7 minutes. For those who are new to watching sim racing or iRacing in general, the system has a very clever automatic penalty points system, if you like. So if you step over track limits, you get 1 incident point. If you have a spin, you get 2. Or if you have contact with another driver, you get 4 incident points. Now, Damien Harris looked like he'd been a bit in the wars there as well. But and at this type of racing where it's so close with touring cars, Sam, actually having 4 pieces of contact is actually, they can rack up so easily. And I've certainly had it in races as well, where you can do absolutely nothing wrong and you can get rammed from the back 4 times and you get sent to pit lane for a drive-through.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often, but it does.
I think it happened once to me at Road Atlanta, and I can believe my luck. I hear a lot from other drivers how it happens on was, but did it really happen, mate? Did you pick up a couple of objects? But it happened to me once at Road Atlanta, and I was DQ'd within like 5 minutes, and it was really sad. But it is tricky with those, and we've certainly been in the wars as you were saying before. Has Harris fortunate as well, because he was in a good position, but not anymore. You do have to take that into consideration, especially on the opening laps, just trying to avoid any of those. And of course, if you can use them tactically as well later on in the race, you can gain a little bit of lap time as well. As Aschert is right on the tail of Smith. So while Smith has done well here, because Smith was overtaken by Simmons a while back for 10th place, but actually Smith has gone from 11th to 7th, fairly quickly passing Simmons. So I wonder if Simmons had some kind of problem, but Smith is looking very strong up there in 7th place, but Simmons I think probably the fastest out of these two.
Yeah, and talking about being in the wars, George Simmons definitely has been in the wars in these first 9 minutes of the meeting, and given what we've seen happen to Damien Harris there, he might be playing this a little bit more conservative, actually, because knowing that he can't afford a bit of contact, because that would send him through for a drive-through. Just as I say that, he just lunges it straight up the inside. Thanks, George. But is he going to get it done? We can't quite tell. Is he clear on the inside? Ish. But I think this section here, it's probably, like you said, Sam, it's not the most satisfying stretch of tarmac to drive a car around. But for racing, you're never out of it. You can always throw a move. Yeah,
it's he's tried it at a few different places, hasn't he, Tilka? At this place, it works, certainly. I think the inspiration was the Hockenheim Stadium, which I don't really understand that, because Hockenheim Stadium is terrible for racing, but very fun to drive. That's totally the opposite, is that place. But in Formula 1 we see it year after year as well. It does just work. So Simmons, despite running wide, he's on 9 instants, by the way, Simmons, so he's got a few to spare, and just watch out for him, maybe track extending a few times just to get a few tenths of a second. Starting halfway through this race 1 of the evening, however, so he has got plenty of time to catch and pass Smith. I think this is the most likely overtake coming up. Aschert just starting to drop back a bit, and Marcel T, who once again is the Nürburgring 24 Hours champion. Started only 12th tonight, but he's up into 10th. He's looking a little bit faster than the Dutchman ahead.
I feel like, Sam, we've got to find a cliche that we can wear out throughout the remainder of this season, and frankly the future seasons, about Marcel T being the Nürburgring 24-hour champion.
Lovely.
I mean, there's got to be a bit like, I love the thing you sent me about Valtteri Bottas' rally car skills. I was laughing at that one. What can this be? It's like, oh, clearly he's good at remembering corners with circuits with lots of corners in them because he's the Nürburgring 24-hour winner.
Or maybe just when he doesn't make mistakes, we're like, well, he did after all win the Nürburgring 24 hours, a race of high attrition. So, no, that is
That's just a valid point, actually.
No, don't say that. It's not a valid point.
No,
Don't fall into that
count.
trap.
If that's a valid point, we can't. That's not going to count.
No. Oh, yeah. Lots of fuel.
Bottas gets about 10 degrees out of shape. Oh, look at his rallies. It's like his rally skills are pretty negligible, to be quite honest.
He is the flying fin after all.
After all, yeah.
Along with the other 5 flying fins in F1.
Or the thing is also that you can have flying Dutchman, flying Scotsman.
Yep.
Flying anything really. Flying Toby Ward in the 3 spars boosted. Flying Audi. I feel we're digressing here.
I don't think we are.
we haven't started talking about Disney Pixar cartoon showdowns as well. We'll get in trouble again for that. Riding with Fraser Smith right now, looking back at George Simmons, who's very much on the recovery drive, but with the reverse grid format, the fact that it's been a difficult start to the day for George Simmons, but the car's in a straight line relatively. He's in there in the fight, and unlike, for example, Jack Cedric, who's out the race, George is going to have a much easier time of it throughout the rest of the evening.
And it's quite a small reverse grid as well for race 2. It's only 19 cars, so if Simmons does finish in 7th or 8th there, he will actually be starting up in like 11th or 12th, which is like a really good place to start for the reverse grid. I think Simmons would fancy his chances at a win or a podium if he could start up in those places. So yeah, I think he'll be it's certainly not too bad for him. Of course, the bad news is when you're trying to catch up points in the championship, it's really annoying when you're trying to catch up points because you manage to outscore someone by like 10 positions and then you start 10 places further back for the next race. It's very frustrating. So Simmons does need to be absolutely perfect if he's going to win his first ARLTC title, and this would help his cause. He is slithering down the straight back to those Texan snakes, and he is it stopped on the inside, and George Simmons up into 7th place, but Smith is trying to come back flat out through turn 2 and into the S's section they go. One of them has got to back out surely. They're over the curbs. This didn't end well for Simmons on the first lap. He's leaving plenty of room for his rival this time, but Smith is not letting him go at all. Simmons runs wide, and we are remarkably side by side throughout this part of the circuit, and that is a fantastic move there from George Simmons. And I think Smith might just be overtaken by Asher at the same time as they make contact. Have they kept it in a straight line? They just have not, and Marcel T managing to get some 3.
Oh, that was a pity there. It's I tell you what, that little incident aside, this racing in this stadium part of the or should we call it the anti-Hockenheim Stadium here in ARLTC at COTA West. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Now, Kieran Harrison has cleared off up the road, but he's left his 2 HM Engineering colleagues behind, the 2 Frenchmen, Guinez and Boekler. And, Guinez just says, there you go, after you, Romain. Of course, Romain Boekler is still he's still up in the higher places in the championship, Sam.
Yeah, and there's some prizes for the top, I think it's top 5. So you want to get in the top 5 if you can. And also, we always have a different number system every season, but you might get like a seeding for your number next season. Of course, Dave Baker, who hasn't been around for much of the season, unfortunately, has got the card number 3. And because he finished 3rd last season, and Kieran Harrison's got the card number 1. So I mean, if you don't want it for the thousands of pounds of prizes we have in Apex Racing League touring cars, you want it for the next season's number.
Now, Sam, I've made the cardinal error of commentary on sim racing, or indeed YouTube. I've checked the YouTube comments, and Alex Neller has hurt my feelings. He said that Not Kill is an overrated triangle.
Don't listen to him.
No, I shall not.
He's just insecure about his own home race circuit.
Which is?
I don't know. But whatever it is, he's very insecure about it.
Yeah, I'd love to know what it is, and I will gladly deconstruct it. How dare you speak ill of the great Knockhill. Duffestep, all I'll just say is Duffestep. It's like the corkscrew of the north. In fact, it's the corkscrew of Europe, I'll have you know.
It's much more than a job.
Having crashed a motorbike down Duffestep, I can assure you it's a big guts corner.
It's much better than Stetson, which is my home circuit.
It's different. It's different. They're very different actually, aren't they?
Yeah.
Snetterton's a lot faster.
Well, the Knockhill.
Yeah, I would say when we're out in the back part of the circuit.
I guess so. It used to be the monster of the UK. After all, Leitner, by the way, apologies, has just got past Nagy here, but Daniel is coming back.
I've just read the YouTube comments. Alex Naylor's home circuit's Croft.
Poor guy.
Turnip Field.
Sorry about this, everyone.
Did I say that out loud? You question not kill at your peril.
Leitner got that move done, so he's up. Leitner's up 9 places. If we had a driver of the of race 1, I think he'd probably be up there, along with Harrison. Of course, he's absolutely run away with this race. But Leitner with exceptional pace, getting past his countryman that last time round. How far is Simmons? Another 7 seconds back. Also, Shirley, I think, just got overtaken by Fritsch. Fritsch is quite a bit faster, about 6 tenths faster on that last lap. So the Austrian crucially getting within the reverse grid places, and actually Harris, after that drive-through, on reverse grid pole at the moment. However, I can see him catching up to Shirley by the end of the race. He's still got a couple more laps for these drivers to complete. So yeah, it could turn out pretty well for Harris. I would back him for the race to win if he starts on the front row.
Definitely, we've seen him. We've actually been calling Damien Harris Mr. Race 3 this year, because sometimes he's had difficult meetings and actually got on the pole or on the front row for race 3 and just cleared off into the distance. So we know what he's capable of. Clear air, he's as fast as anyone in this championship.
Yeah, and he's right up there. I mean, when you just need that extra kind of couple of tenths to absolutely get into that elite level of the championship contenders. But Harris is definitely a multiple-time race winner. His racecraft has improved over the couple of seasons he's been in this championship as well. We've got Shirkov, Garcia, and Williams are very close. Williams had a very, I think, bad qualifying by his own account in 20th place, but he's up, apologies, 19th place, but he's up into 11th, as also Jason Cooper is trying to get past Adam Bard there, and this is for 20th position, and Cooper's just lining this one up, getting plenty of cutbacks.
Yeah, you've got to be quite clever where to make your move here at the Circuit of the Americas, because there's so many switchback opportunities. Look, you see Jason Cooper here getting a really big run there on Adam Bath, but you've got to be thinking, like you mentioned, Sam, so far ahead. Look, I love that little section there where you're left, right, left. Like a proper little switchback, and then into this very, very tight left-hander, and whoa, big send, hope for the best. Adam Bath sees it coming, but Jason Cooper's got the move done. Good stuff.
Yeah, nice work. Just needs one problem for one of the drivers ahead, and that's reverse grid pole. He's looking like he's going to miss out. Harrison just about managed to force an extra lap, a lap 13, so more time for Williams to get past Garcia. That looks like he's done it. Like I said, Williams only qualified down in 19th place, one of his worst qualifyings of the season, but his race pace seems to be very strong. Garcia with a slight draft though ahead from Shirikov. He's coming back, but the inside drive from this position should be in a much favoured place, and Williams just getting ahead, but that cutback through turn 1 into 2 does seem like quite an effective strategy. Williams though, I think he's got it done, but another second to catch up to Shirikov. I doubt that one will happen, as the race leader, I think, is coming into the final few corners of the lap.
Yes, indeed. It's been an imperious performance here from Kieran Harrison, the #1 defending champion and championship leader, and this win puts him one step further towards a second consecutive ARLTC championship. A difficult start to the meeting for George Simmons. He sits in 7th right now. We'll see how it pans out over the course of the meeting. But Kieran Harrison has been at his very best here today at the Circuit of the Americas. The checker flag is being prepared and begins to wave to greet Kieran Harrison, your winner in race 1 here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship from the Circuit of the Americas. And we wait for his HM Engineering teammates Roman Bokler and Corentin Guinness coming through to make it an HM Engineering 1, 2 and 3, a podium sweep. What a start.
I don't think that's happened so far this season. So yeah, very impressive from those guys. Simmons just about beats T to the line. He started low down on the grid. Simmons had that problem on lap 1, but they both got through without picking up a drive through. And Gregory overtook Hereford on the last lap, I think going into like the turn 11 hairpin, the normal turn 11 that is, and manages to get a car between himself and Woodhouse. So good work there from Gregory, and yeah, he's starting to win those 50-50s with Woodhouse again, so a couple points out of the championship leaders title lead. And Martin Shirley has beaten Jason Cooper to the line, so finishes in 19th place to Shirley, and that will be reverse grid pole.
Oh, that's what you want to. It's always it's almost as important as the battle for the win to get that last spot in the reverse grid, and therefore getting to start from the front of the pack in race 2. Well, an absolute cracker, incident-packed race here at the Circuit of the Americas, and of course that is with a grid order set by pacing qualifying. We're now getting into the fun and games of reverse grids in race 2 and race 3, Sam, so bound to be even more crazy when we get into the next race shortly.
Yeah, I think so. Although it seemed like I said at the start of race 1, I feel quite foolish now, because of course I was predicting how tricky it would be to overtake for the drivers, but anything but. That we had absolutely overtaking all over the place, and yeah, should be an interesting race 2 and race 3.
That it should. And confirming then your winner, Kieran Harrison, by 7.4 seconds from his teammate Roman Bokler, with Corentin Guinness charging up into 3rd position overall at the end. Terje Flatten was 4th, followed by Norbert Leitner, Daniel Nagy, George Simmons, Marcel T, Igor Shurikov and Craig Williams rounding out the top 10. Mikael Garcia was 11th with Ben Gregory, top 10. Mikael Garcia was 11th with Ben Gregory winning in the AN class in 12th overall. Oystein Herford was 13th, followed by Mark Woodhouse, Sergey Gladkov, Fraser Smith, Marcel Fritsch, Damien Harris, Martin Shirley and Jason Cooper rounds out your top 20, with Martin Shirley getting that last spot on the reverse grid, and will start from pole for race 2. Adam Bath was 21st, followed by Baron Glover, Toby Ward, Wojciech Suridowicz. Not a good result for Wojciech. We expect to see him much further up. Obviously hit problems earlier on. Jack Tingy was 25th, followed by Kevin Marshall-Shea, Martin Ashert, Vasily Zaitsev, Roman Persk, and Jack Sedgwick, front runner, multiple race winner this season, out of the running on lap 1. And, well, Sam, you'll have to start from the very back of the pack for race 2.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you get a bit of damage. No fast repairs in this series. And so, yeah, an incident like that can really ruin your evening. However, we have got a reverse grid of 26 for race 3, so you'll obviously get within that. I mean, it'd take another first lap retirement in order for him to not get within that reverse grid. So, yeah, it's just recovery for Sedgwick. But maybe the favourite for race 3, a very early favourite, with of course still one more race to go before that. We've got about another minute of gridding up time remaining for the drivers, and you can see there the temperature for the drivers out on track, 27 degrees. I think it should be 6 o'clock in the evening the final session will be, so it should get a little bit cooler, but yeah, not too bad for these drivers. If we were in the afternoon, then it's really hot for these guys, but instead they will have a little bit of grip out there.
Yeah, but I think the drivers will be glad that it's not in the middle of the afternoon. As they say, you don't mess with Texas. or something to that effect. Of course, of course, you're thinking, well, these drivers, they're sitting in their sims at home. What can temperature make the difference? Well, the higher the track temperature, if you get an excessively high track temperature, the surface can get very, very greasy and very, very slippy. And it's not ideal for tyre wear either. It often gives the tyres a lot harder work than they otherwise would get. So when we head into the early part of the evening for race 3, that track temperature should have cooled down a bit, just giving that slightly more grippier surface. But we're about ready to go for race 2 here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship from the Circuit of the Americas. The lights go out and off we go. It's a little bit of a sluggish getaway for Martin Shirley from pole position, and Damien Harris spots his opportunity, snips the lead off quickly and leaves the door open. No, he doesn't. Looks like Damien Harris is going to get away clean. Now, can anybody get on top of him? We've got a huge car park at the hairpin, a very typical example of a Circuit of the Americas Turn 1 crash, and George Simmons hitting more problems, Sam.
He wasn't best pleased as well after race 1. He was making he particularly happy after that one as well, just wedged in the middle and having absolutely nowhere to go seemingly, and being spun around by another judge. So super bad news for him. An incredible start so far for Kieran Housen. He's up 11 places in of the season, absolutely mega, and he's still darting left, right and centre to make up more positions. So absolutely incredible for him. Ascher nearly spinning it further down the order, getting a very slow exit, just being overtaken by Beauclerc, and also Cedric there just nipping up the inside. So good start for Cedric. He's up 10 places, but yeah, Harrison from 19th to 8th so far.
Wow, what a start from Kieran Harrison, and he's actually put himself in a really strong position to try to fight to the front and go for a race 2 win, and to follow up with a race 2 win, that's almost unheard of here in ARLTC, given the number of drivers involved and also with the reverse grid format.
Yeah, how tricky to catch as that's a little bit of contact there. Daniel Nagy is a very quick driver, and so that will be tricky for Harrison, just willing to have a fight just behind Kines, getting past Glaskov, and also a bit further ahead. This is Garcia losing out to Woodhouse there. So yeah, I thought Garcia maybe was attacking Shirley, but in fact actually Woodhouse overtaking for 4th position overall. It's not been a good start actually for Ben Gregory. Gregory's out of the race, in fact, so great news for Woodhouse for the Outer Championship. He's running up right at the front, and Gregory will be getting no points from this.
Well, that's not good news at all for Ben Gregory, and hopefully for Mark Woodhouse, he'll be getting confirmation from a spotter from the guys at Team Mad to say Gregory is out the race. Just keep it nice and clean and tidy. Don't go for any silly moves. Just keep bringing that car home and extend that championship lead. As we see now, Simmons still in 25th. You wonder if he's maybe nursing a little bit of damage there as well. And Wojciech Suridovic, his teammate, getting barged about too. Jack Cedric now up to 19th, so there's a little bit of a bottleneck. And whoa, huge slide for Cedric. Gets a bit of a nudge there as well. So just shows you, if you have to start from deep in the pack here, it's an absolute piranha pool here in ARLTC, as Fraser Smith has hit the front from Damien Harris.
Yes, Harris had a lead. He was like 1.7 seconds ahead of the rest, I think, at one point was Harris. So he must have made a mistake. Yeah, I think he got... Well, he had a dreadful sector 1. He lost 1 second in sector 1. I think the sector 1 is like turn 1 and 2, and that's it. Doesn't even contain the S's. So absolutely dreadful news there. And yeah, that should be a tight battle to the end of the race, hopefully between those two. It's a tight battle back here with Cooper going up against Savidovic and Cohen. Also just ahead Barth. I think battling with Beauclerc. I think that was Beauclerc just overtaking Barth there. But Cooper staying ahead at the moment. And Savidovic, who I think pulled off a real nice move through the S's on the last lap, just staying ahead of the HM Engineering driver. And Lightner's shown already today to be very quick. So this is a high quality fight between, of course, Leitner himself and the 6-time champion, that is Wojciech Savidovic.
Ooh, as you see Martin Shirley here and Mark Woodhouse having a battle, and Shirley just leave the door open just a slight amount. Mark Woodhouse is going to try, but this is where you've got to be very, very careful that peripheral vision, very, very important, because it's so easy to get into contact. But up there maybe looked like there was the ever so slightest touch, and Martin Shirley, our pole sitter, heads around and he'll drop right to the back of the order. Look at all those cars streaming by. Oh, more chance of getting let out in Edinburgh.
Look at Harrison, he's up into third. He's gained 16 places in just under 5 minutes, so he managed to quickly get past Woodhouse as well, whilst I imagine Mark was fairly flustered after that contact. So yeah, mighty there for Harrison. I wonder if we could get a replay actually of the change of the lead from Smith when Smith took it from Harris, because that could potentially be a race-defining move potentially between those two drivers. Did seem to be
a mistake of some sort as Daniel Neji just hits the woof, that was a big move.
Yeah, he's fairly aggressive tonight, isn't he, Neji? I mean he usually is, but this race too, really all over the place. As here was, yeah, the move from Smith. Oh, it was a slowdown. So I imagine Harris has gone too wide there at the penultimate corner and picked up a slowdown. Oh,
that's so frustrating. You're leading and you get told to serve a slowdown. If you've never seen one before, that's what here in iRacing. If you cut the track sufficiently, the system will order you to serve a time penalty, which you have to serve by way of effectively coming out the throttle and slowing down. It can be very, very penalising depending on where the circuit you get it. I always find the one at Le Mans coming out of Tête Rouge, and you go, oh, you're kidding, and you see everyone just going, you know, past you as you have to trundle along at way less speed than normal. That's where the boost button on the LMP1 comes in handy to get back up to speed again. As Marcel Fritsch goes very wide in the GT tyre machine. But a great drive so far from Fraser Smith. We know that there's quite a rivalry between Fraser Smith and Damien Harris. They've had a rivalry that's rumbled through many different TCR championships, but at the moment this episode in that battle is in favour of Fraser Smith.
Yeah, they've been matching each other the last couple of laps. Harrison also taking half a second out. I didn't really believe you when you said earlier on that Harrison could win this race too. I'm trying to come over to your way of thinking, because he's doing some quick laps. Smith and Harris can't afford to fight. You can just see Harrison there closing in behind. So yeah, could be close by the end of the race, and of course Najee as well will be in there if he can. Currently between the places of 4th and 22nd, there's not more than a second gap between any of them. Maybe we could go to like the TV3 and just try to appreciate the gap or the closeness of those drivers. But you can see that it's just a sea of orange at the moment with all these places. Everyone's within the draft of one another. Not too many drivers super duper close enough for an overtake, but yeah, they're all in close proximity.
That is very clever on our SDK Gaming graphics software to see where all the battles are going on up and down the field, and the short answer is pretty much everywhere apart from between 2nd and 3rd and 23rd and 24th. The rest are all absolutely nose to tail right now, and it just shows you also what Kieran Harrison's capable of here at COTA West in that open air, and he is really pulling time at quite a rate out of Fraser Smith and Damien Harris. But looks like he's got the pace to catch up with them, Sam. But at this layout, we know that if someone throws an overtaking manoeuvre, you can throw a counter manoeuvre quite easily, even if you don't necessarily have the lap speed.
Yeah, and I think Garcia might be showing that in just a moment here, should he choose to overtake now or just stay behind. He certainly had the opportunity there to come back against Guinness. Because yeah, you just get on the power that little bit earlier. I think it's probably even more of an effect in these touring cars. And yeah, the battle's really not over until a few corners after you made the initial move. So Vidovic is having a very good race. I mean, he started down in 24th place, did Vidovic. So he's had plenty of work to do. But well, whenever I've seen him, he seems to be overtaking very impressively the first sector of the lap. So there is no holding him back out there. Yeah, there he is, up into 13th place and also already looking ahead. Flatton as well, just getting past Garcia. So Garcia dropping down the order. He's now down into 8th position. Platten up into the top 7, and also is that Cooper trying to get past Glasgow. It is. Glasgow and Zaitsev, of course, teammates for the Wild Animals Wizards team. Of course, 5-star being represented by Jason Cooper, one of the strongest teams in this series. Actually, Glasgow did very good there to win that little duel.
They would make very good Uber drivers, wouldn't they? 5-star motorsport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5-star has a lot of different meanings around the world. I remember discussing this, I think, with Marco Barbanero, who's from Italy, and 5-star means something slightly different. But
Okay, I'll not ask anymore. For the benefit of, well, everybody. Marcel T, the Nürburgring 24-hour winner.
Oh, change the lead.
Damien Harris makes a move at turn 1. It's a big move on the brakes up the hill. It's a tremendous opening corner. One of the most distinctive in the world, actually. It's almost like going up a skateboard ramp or half pipe or something like that. And you think, oh, why do I even bother using the brakes? The car's just slowed down by gravity. So Fraser Smith back to second, and of course we knew that Kieran Harrison was pulling time out of these guys anyway, but that overtaking manoeuvre will make that job that a little bit easier. And Daniel Nagy not too far behind either, about 3 seconds behind Harrison, who is in third, and Nagy in fourth.
Yeah, what that time? So Neji kind of matching the leaders at the moment, so that gap kind of maintaining. Guinness as well, of course, is quick. Guinness got, actually, Guinness not far behind, he's only like 1 second behind, isn't he? Nowadays, so if the Frenchman gets on with it, then he could be there. I think it's only a matter of time till Harrison catches up now, unless Smith has got some extra pace. He has been able to pull a bit of a gap straight away on Smith, so maybe Harris will be able to keep that lead, but that slowdown on the first lap really has made things very tricky for the privateer. In fact, actually, his team on this says a privateer, clearly a misspelling. I don't think that's his team name. There you go, privateer.
He is fiercely forward, isn't he?
Well, yeah, maybe we should change that.
I thought Damien's correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the Bumblebee car.
Oh, absolutely. But like on the overlay, it just says pivoteer. I don't know how we haven't picked up on that all season long, but we have now.
We've got an edge details.
Yeah, it's taken us 12 meetings to notice that. Sorry, Damien. Although he did fill it out as pivoteer, so it is his fault.
He's maybe that's his maybe he's starting up a new team, and this is like a leak. It'll be an Autosport tomorrow, or next week. Autosport came out today.
Sure, of course, just leaked some positions then.
Oh, wow, very good.
There you go. That's commentary for you.
Thank you for that report as well. So, yeah, 7.5 minutes to go here at the Circuit of the Americas, and we're about to set up a bit of a three-way grandstand fight to the flag here in race 2 of 3 here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Kieran Harrison, winner in race 1, and if he were successful in race 2, tell you what, we'd have to go quite far back in your records, Sam, to find a driver who's actually won the opening 2 races. Race 1 and race 3 can be done. We've seen that happen, but I honestly can't remember the last time someone won race 1 and 2.
Yeah, I am not sure. I've got Harrison's up into second. It's happening, everyone. I had some lovely stats for our other series. Never got many great stats for this series, although I may have to do some looking. One year I did once get all 3 wins. I think it happened like once 5 years ago, but that's about it. But this is very problematic for Harrison because Smith is kind of trying to come back fast. I'm surprised Smith is even fighting this one, and there's a little bit of contact between the two of them, but Harrison dealt with that one absolutely perfectly. He left room there, minimised the risk of a crash, and he minimised the time loss as well. So he's just got 1.2 seconds then to catch up to Damien Harris, and he's got 6 minutes to do it.
Well, it's game on. Well, of course, a couple of weeks ago we got the chance to have a chat with Kieran Harrison, and we hadn't actually spoken to him, I think, since round 1 or 2, and I said to Kieran, I said, oh, I haven't spoken to you for a while. He goes, yeah, I've not really been entirely satisfied with the meeting since then. It's like, they winning the championship by miles. So, I mean, I think winning a couple of races tonight, that would definitely qualify as a satisfactory meeting, to say the least.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do an Indianapolis and get wrecked out in race 3. That's the only thing that could prevent that, I imagine. So yeah, it'll be good to talk to him. Problem for Naji there, he just picks up a slowdown. We've seen a fair few drivers picking up a slowdown. It seems like through the cut though. You can't really cut the circuit through the S's because you've got those absolutely terrifying yellow curbs on the inside of each of the corners, but you can pick up one at the cut through, it seems. And so Naji falling from 4th to 7th, and Guinness doing very well up there now in 4th, and Woodhouse doing terrifically well. Woodhouse actually staying with Guinness ever since he got overtaken. He stayed very close to him, and also Terje Flatten as well involved in that. So a very close order out here as Harrison takes another half second out of Damien Harris in the lead. Let's see if Woodhouse makes a move here down into turn 1. Oh, in fact, actually, Flatten's going to go for it. We might even see 3 wide. Everyone's going for a move of one another. But in the end, nothing happens. No, it sure does happen because Woodhouse gets spun round, has to do a very awkward turn as well. And that is a big shame for our amateur championship leader.
Oh, and nearly crashes with Jack Sedgwick there as well coming through. Now, that is huge for the championship because I was just about to say this is dreamland for Mark Woodhouse in 5th. Ben Gregory out of the race, and all of a sudden it flips around again. Okay, Mark Woodhouse will score some points, but nowhere near what he would have done if he'd stayed there in 5th position. So Ben Gregory, although he might be parked up for race 2 after a really unfortunate incident early on, give him just that little glimmer of hope that this fight is still well and truly on.
Yeah, absolutely. As Bokler is getting past Garcia, I've only ever seen him lose places in this race. I mean, he did start 9th, but he had a good start, and then he's kind of just been leaking places since then. But he's actually kept so very quick to a chance. Right behind him is very high. Garcia going the long way round. Time to open or just give a little bit of room there was Bokler. He's up the inside for the final corner as well. But this could compromise their exits a little bit. Good run actually there for Garcia, but now it's Marcel T who might be chooses. I sure hope he does. And this could be a couple of places in one corner.
You've got that.
Didn't go for
it. There's a lot of different lines here as well, because you can think you've got the inside line, but if you're on the wider line, you can actually open up the throttle that little bit more, and there's a tangle between Marcel T and resulted in Leitner moving around as whoa, Swaridovic all over the curbs, holds the brake, gets back going again, but that could have been a lot worse. He might get quite a long slowdown penalty for that one, Wojciech Swaridovic, but slowdown penalty is better than a spin. Aha.
Oh,
Here we go.
Oh, there you go. Oh, no, he's got it. He's alongside Harrison into the lead.
Yeah, beautiful block pass there from Kieran Harrison. Just parked his Audi exactly where he needed to. But at COTA, you can make a move, but you can be you can be the victim of a counter attack quite easily as well. And look at Damien Harris. He's still climbing that HM Engineering car of Kieran Harrison into the final corner. They go. It will be 2 to go. Will it? Yes.
Oh, flag. I think I see a white flag.
Is
yes,
it?
white
Oh,
flag.
good spot. Well, good spot, Sam. So this is the last lap, and look at Kieran Harrison. He is hugging the pit wall. That's the pit wall, of course, that Marc Marquez, when his Honda broke down, he hopped over the pit wall, ran the length of pit lane, got onto his spare bike, and still went out and set pole position. It was one of MotoGP history. It's a fascinating one. Do check it out on YouTube. As well. I mean, spoiler alert, he puts it on pole, but the bit up to it is very exciting. Anyway, Kieran Harrison defending his line well, but as we know...
Yeah, and good aggressive driving there from Harris, but he just could not find a way. I mean, it's been one of Harrison's best races of the season, and that's pretty impressive as Simmons. Oh, George, what has happened tonight? Maybe he's trying to get the reverse grid pole, perhaps? I'm not sure. Oh, he hasn't crashed, has he? By himself? So it'd be very unusual for George. No, he's got some kind of problem, or maybe, yeah, he is trying to get that reverse grid. But yeah, it's down to 26 places out in the lead.
He's doing Matthias Beer.
Yeah.
ARLTC going, oh, my Ferrari has got 100 horsepower all of a sudden. Starting to stretch this, and wow, This is really impressive. We have to stress it. We have to labour the point. To win race 1 and race 2 in a format like we have here is mighty, mighty impressive. As we come round the final corner for the final time here in the second race, Kieran Harrison is a double winner here in the Circuit of the Americas. George Simmons parked over the line. He takes the checkered flag there alongside. So, Kieran Harrison, 2 wins. Sam, can he do 3?
Well, from 27th on the grid, it'd be impressive. It's cool, especially seeing that Simmons is starting from pole. But let's see. Woodhouse still managed to finish top of the AMS judge. Look at that segregation there between the pro and the AMS. That is means that the person who did the rankings was pretty good there. That is very nice to see. But Woodhouse there somehow winning, despite the fact that because he got spun at the first corner on about lap 5 or 6.
Yeah, indeed it was. So, what a dream day for HM Engineering so far, and Kieran Harrison, and this really starts to put him at for George Simmons, who is the nearest in the championship points coming into this race. And Kieran Harrison, well, having his best meeting of the year so far, and he's had plenty of them. This is really starting to put a big hold on that championship.
Yeah, he's we already knew that it would take problems, wouldn't it, for him to not win the championship from here, but it would take some absolutely massive problems, especially of course the last 2 rounds they can't be dropped, so, so there could be changes there, but unless he has a problem like one of the judges did last season in the last round where their computer broke down, you really cannot see any way back really for the other judges. He's just been that consistent.
Yeah, the only thing could be is if it's something that prevents him from attending the last few rounds, and that changes things. But like you say, it would take problems now. Kieran Harrison, then your winner by 0.7 of a second from the still very impressive Damien Harris, leading away early on and maintaining second position. Fraser Smith finishes on the podium with Corentin Guinness in 4th and Daniel Neji rounding out the top 5. Roman Boltler was 6th, followed by Terje Flatten, Norbert Leitner, Mikael Garcia, and Marcel T rounds out the top 10. Oystein Herford finished 11th, followed by Jason Cooper, Vasily Zaitsev, Wojciech Zuridovic, Jack Sedgwick, Roman Persk, Martin Ashert, and Mark Woodhouse still gets the AM class win, but he'll be kicking himself on a lot of points gone begging with that late race incident. Finishing in 19th today is Sergei Glazkov, followed by Adam Bath, Marcel Fritsch, Toby Ward, Baron Glover, Martin Shirley, Jack Tingy, Kevin Marshall-Say, George Simmons and Igor Shirokov. And finally, Ben Gregory and Craig Williams round out your 30-car field. We're going to take a very short break here on Apex Racing TV. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back with all the action from Race 3.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare.
Welcome back to Texas and the Circuit of the Americas, where we are preparing for race 3, the final race of this meeting here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. So far, it's been a dream evening for Kieran Harrison. 2 wins from 2. A feat that we very rarely see here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship due to the reverse grid nature in our race 2 and race 3. We're going to see Kieran Harrison start from 27th on the grid for this race 3, Sam, so to do the treble would be an even bigger ask.
Definitely, as we got the grid up, and I thought that we would have Simmons at the front of this one, but well, seems like we won't do. So it'll be Marshall C, who I think may have been started from the front row in the last race. Oh, apologies, it was Shirley started from second place, wasn't it? So he'll be starting in the front. But yeah, Marshall C, Tingy, Shirley, and Glover. Lots of amateur drivers at the front, so really tricky to call this one, I must say. Maybe Raymond Pershka in his first ever ARLTC race, maybe he could win from 11th.
Well, that would be very cool to see, wouldn't it, as well? And Martin Ashert will be the top of the Pro Class drivers in 10th. So let's run through them then. Kevin Marcy and Tak Tingy on row 1. Martin Shirley and Baron Glover row 2, with Toby Ward, Marcel Fritsch, Adam Bath, Sergei Glasgow and Mark Woodhouse rounding out the first 9, all in the AM class. Martin Ashert in 10th, followed by Roman Persk and Jack Sedgwick. Watch out for that 110 car. Jack Sedgwick, you know how quick he is. Wojciech Szowidowic, likewise, very, very fast. Starts from 13th, with Vasily Zaitsev in 14th. Let's get going then. It's time for race 3 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Off we go. Jack Tingy leads us away, but it's a brilliant start from Martin Shirley. Much, much better than in race 2, and it's Shirley who's going to hit the front into turn 1.
Oh, it's almost a traffic jam into turn 1. Trials piling in the back. Gosh, that was even worse than race 2. We got a couple of HM engineering cars kind of spinning around just in the back, and Damien Harris just about slithering his way through. They're still making contact down into turn 2, with main drivers having damage already and struggling to keep it in a straight line. But as you say, Shirley with a dream start. Astra up 7 places, and similar to Harrison's start in race 2 there. So Astra somehow managed to carve his way through that first lap mess, and is up into 3rd position, maybe the favourite for this race winner.
Yeah, no such luck this time for Kieran Harrison, getting involved in a little bit of argy-bargy. It was almost impossible to avoid in that opening turn 1. It's always a hot spot for action. As whoa, look at that. Who's that going around? Right around the outside. I think, is that Pershk in the 148 car? It is, yes. Roman, a little bit of a nudge there as well from Norbert Leitner as well. So goodness me, trying to keep on top of all of this. Corentin Guina is up to 10. Marcel T having a bit hopping over the curbs of the Nürburgring in the 24 hours, which he won last weekend.
Yeah, really dealing with the adversity right there, as you have to do in his pedigree right there. Szowidowic up to 11th, just getting past Glasgow. He's been right in the heart of things tonight. Szowidowic must have got caught up, as Shirley is under pressure here. Astra going for the lead. The Dutch driver, can he get that one stopped? Oh, there's a little bit of a is up into the lead of the race.
Well, the front of the field has not been clogged. He is through, is Martin Ashert, and well, it's going to take some stopping now. And well, if there's any man who can stop Martin Ashert at the top of this table, it's Jack Sedgwick, who's already up into 3rd position.
Yeah, mighty there from Sedgwick. He might have to pace all Tingy. What happened to... I don't think that was a certain. That was just him losing control of the car, taking a bit too much curb. And that is a situation there to score some good points. Oh, it's very close in. Oh, that's a driver spinning in the back, and that's Flatson almost spinning. Oh, and now Greg all kicking off with Szowidowic spinning, with Smith spinning. Gregory must have just been blindsided there because he seemed to go hard left there into his rival, and that might be another DNF. It's going to be a drop round for Gregory.
That's a disaster for Ben Gregory, and it looked to me there that Ben Gregory was just, again, the wrong place at the wrong time. It's so busy, so tight and technical here at the Circuit of the Americas. Really a disastrous evening for Ben Gregory, and also, when you look in the context, Mark Woodhouse, his championship rival in the AM class, up in 5th overall, as Jack Sedgwick did temporarily go up to 2nd position, but is he serving a slowdown penalty? If he is, he's serving it very well. Perhaps not.
That's just a poor exit.
Inside line. He's just a very keen on the inside.
Oh, look at Fitch as well, going to a halt through turn 1. He was terrified of hitting Shirley, who was taking an unusual line, and lost about 10 car length onto the throttle. That is Guinness moving up a place, and also Woodhouse passing Fitch, and now Fitch is going to be overtaken by another driver here. Just of course it's single file through there, and he doesn't want to pick up the zone, so he just has to wait until all these drivers are going past before he can get back onto the black stuff. So terrible news for him there, and also Zaitsev getting past Fitch. So maybe Fitch got another slowdown there because he does seem particularly sluggish right now. I think he's cleared that now down into 10th position. However, so yeah, it's all going on. Lots of retirees. So Barth, Garcia, Bokler, Harris, and Simmons. Well, that's the race.
Well, I think that could well be George Simmons' championship challenge done. Of course, no Carl Jansen tonight either. And it's been a very good night for Kieran Harrison, even with a slightly difficult start to this race 3, starting from 27th. Kieran Harrison now up into 14th and just slowly picking his way through the pack. I suspect we'll look back on this round here in the Texan Desert, Sam, is the day that Kieran Harrison put himself really into the driver's seat for this ARLTC championship.
Yeah, he's really stretching his legs now at the top of the title as his teammate Leitner, who's showing good pace in race 1 in particular, but also through race 2. He's up into 3rd. Leitner's up 16 places from his start, the highest gainer so far in this race. So could he win? It's 4.5 seconds off the lead. Yeah, unlikely, unless Ascher and Cedric collided. Well, they did just set the fastest clean lap of anyone. That Ascher and Cedric, both picking up off tracks on that last lap, were a bit faster, however. And then, this battle from 4th down to 9th. Very close to one another. And by the way, just a shout out as well to one of our sponsors for this is SDK Gaming. Provide our lovely overlay, which you can go get a subscription for and download it on sdk-gaming.co.uk. And it's absolutely brilliant for streaming, broadcasting, and also as a heads-up display as well. So do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk for more details on that. As dropping many places very quickly, there is Sergei Glaskov, who's at 14.
Harrison up to 13th there as well. Another, well, I tell you what, SDK Gaming is that software is used by our resident spotter in the Commentatori Quadricourse Esports team garage by none other than Jim Hodgson, Sam. When you're, I tell you what, there's nothing more relaxing when you're driving a stint in an endurance race in Horacio, or Lamborghini Huracan. You've got the dulcet tones of Jim Hodgson in your ear, the buttery tones of Jim Hodgson, and he's using all that SDK Gaming timing software to avoid incidents like that.
Yeah, that's... Oh, come on. Oh, that's...
Oh, that's not nice.
Oh, that was scary. Jeez. Shirley, wrong way around. Oh, and now is he continuing? No, that's it. Shirley's had enough. He's back to the pits. Shame he was up in the top 6. I think he had a lot of quick drives behind him though, so it's always going to be tricky to avoid incidents there. So yeah, a super high attrition rate in this race 3. Wojciech Savinovich, by the way, just set the fastest lap of the race. 17th. It is. Not sure if it is the fastest lap because so many drivers picking up off tracks. of course, you got to do that. Use the off tracks to your advantage. That's meaning the laps aren't clean out there, but with the fastest clean lap at least of anyone. They're in 16th place, but it has been a tricky meeting for him. Closest battle at the moment is going on between Pershka and Fritsch, which is the battle for the top of the Austrian drivers. Fritsch apologies, Fritsch and Woodhouse are very close. Pershka has got a little bit of a gap ahead.
So that's to battle. What can we call that? The Marco medal. Oh, is Marcel Ty coming into the pits? Either for... Sorry, Marcel T. Yeah, thank you, Sam. Rightly so.
No, they're going 24-hour winning.
Lane, but of course, the pit stop strategy key to winning such a race like the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring. Clearly, Marcel T trying to throw in a little alternative strategy there down the pit lane, or maybe just serving a drive-through. Yes.
Yeah, maybe. It's odd, isn't it? Because he kept it on circuit when he had 24 hours in the Nürburgring 24 hours. He won. Surprised that he's picked up quite that many incidents there.
You can only have about 4 an hour. Otherwise, because people say, 100 incidents. Oh no, that's fine. That's only 4 an hour, and that's just one piece of contact per hour.
Yep.
Quite hard.
As Woodhouse up to 8th. Oh, Platzen going with him as well. So Fritsch being forced offline, and Woodhouse now top of the amateur judge. After that struggling race 2, of course, the good news about his bad race 2 was the fact that he started it further up for race 3. So silver linings, and Woodhouse in for some good points, and also a very clean car there. I do like that team delivery. They've got a very nice spec map on that car. Looks very shiny, kind of the gloss effect, I believe. Or metallic. No, I think it's metallic in it. And he's up there now, isn't he?
Getting a little bit of word from our virtual pit lane at the moment. George Simmons says, probably the worst driving of my BSRTC/ARLTC career. Now, I don't know if that means if George's referring to his own driving or if he's referring to others. I think if it was his own driving, he would be being quite harsh on himself.
I don't think he meant it like that.
Is he referring to the driving of those around him, perhaps?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
But it's I think this race 3, gonna lie, we had that crazy turn 1, didn't we? Race 1, race 2 though, we had some very good battles in part. Obviously, got plenty of incidents as well, but the race 3's calmed down a little bit as well. Yeah, it's been pretty fun tonight. So I think at least some of the drivers have found it fun. We've certainly found it fun in the coaching box, like we always do.
For the comfort of my commentary seat here, I'm thoroughly enjoying this action. But I can understand there's been some drivers who have had a dream day. Kieran Harrison obviously being one of them, and some who've just had a disaster. And unfortunately, George has been in the latter camp, sadly. Yeah.
That's certainly correct. Harrison. Meanwhile, George is complimenting Harrison on the YouTube chat, and he is in 11th place. Not going to be tripled, but he is still up 15 places, which is one of the highest gainers of anyone out there. It's been a little bit slower progress for him. Come on, Kieran, move on. He has got quite a bit of damage on that car, to be fair, so it is understandable. Yeah, quite that front right parts of the car quite visible there. It's kind of a bit of damage on the corners, but no, he's still got good pace. As Zaitsev has just got past Cooper, meanwhile. That's a good move there from Zaitsev. Very impressive. Cooper is one of the fastest drivers in this series, and Zaitsev overtakes him there. It's a legit move.
Very, very, very clean and tidy there from Vasily Zaitsev. Just lined it up, going up the hill into turn 1, and you could honestly go about 6 wide into turn 1. You wouldn't get 6 coming out the other side, mind you, but you could go in 6 wide because there is so many different corner lines that you can take through there. We certainly see that with motorbikes come to COTA, although they haven't been for a while, of course, with the world that we live in. There's going to be actually a lot of circuits in in outdoor motorsports that we actually haven't seen for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to getting back to places like Montreal and Suzuka and Phillip Island, fun places like that.
Absolutely, and I mean Sochi, can't wait.
What?
Terrific circuit. Of course, Saudi Arabia. What got a great time. That's gonna be. So no, some absolutely iconic circuits are going to be visiting. No, I in all seriousness, Interlagos will be very cool. But this is the good thing with the sim racing world. We can go wherever we so choose, and so also iRacing have bothered to model the circuits. And of course, we can't go to Scotland at the moment, but most other places we can visit. And so, of course, the last 2 rounds of the championship, we've got Long Beach and Montreal, and all those circuits that we would be able to visit in the current climate.
Yeah, that is certainly the beauty of the sim racing world, and in the car of your choice as well. I mean, I know we always want more in the iRacing community, for more cars and more new toys to play with, but the choice that we do have is just fantastic. GT cars, single seaters, touring cars, prototypes, you name it. You've got something to go and have a go in. And I tell you what, I was very, very, very happy to see the Porsche 911 GT3R being announced for next season. So Derek will live on for Commentatore Quadricorsa.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to make a lovely segue before you slightly changed the point, but of course you were saying how many fantastic cars are available on iRacing. Of course, many of them covered by Apex Racing Academy, which you can get setups for. And data packs provided by Apex Racing Academy, including for this TCR car. So if you race in the official series, you will have setups designed by Mr. George Simmons, along with track tutorials as well. He'll set like a hot lap for you to aim for, post that as well to you in terms of like an RPY file that you can download and have a look at, so you can see the racing lines of some of the best drivers in this TCR car, along with 28 other cars as well on Apex Racing Academy. Some fantastic software as well, so you can just tick the boxes that you want and it all gets downloaded every week. It's absolutely lovely. So do check out Apex Racing Academy. That was very tight. That was Woodhouse staying ahead of Negi. He's made some enemies tonight, and Woodhouse was nearly another one that they were racing to that Apex. They almost made an extra corner for themselves going that close to the inside.
I love that there from Mark Woodhouse as well. He's miles ahead of the nearest AM class contender. His nearest contender in the championship, Ben Gregory, is parked up for the day. No points from race 2 or 3. And he's got a World Touring Car Championship driver going for a lunge up the inside, and he says, no you don't. I'm just going to shut the door straight in your face. And brilliant stuff there from Mark Woodhouse. He may well be in the AM Championship, but he is driven like a pro this season.
Yeah, he's run wide. He's got a couple of laps to survive here, and he's got Harrison behind. Shurkov has been fairly quick tonight, and Savidovic as well. So there's going to be a couple of stressful laps here, and if he lets one go, they're all going to go past. So there's no point in playing that game. He just needs to try to hold on to as many of these as he can. As Naji is getting very close, going into the final corner, and if Harrison can get in on this, actually we could see 3 wide into turn 1.
Well, let's have a look and see if he's going to try it. We're riding on board with Kieran Harrison, and he's certainly not close enough to have a go here, but here goes Neji this time. Woodhouse lets him go on the hope that he can get the cutback. There he goes. See that? So you can get that little switchback, but Neji says, I've seen that one coming. This is not my first rodeo, Mark. And Mark Woodhouse decides to tuck in behind and assumes 10th position, but still, again, top of the AM class. And if he can hold that position, that'll be 2 wins from 3 for Mark Woodhouse and a nice extension to his championship lead in the AM class.
It was interesting to see that onboard with House because he was absolutely dreadful down the straight. He's got some damage, and that's why he's been quite so slow to move up through the order. He has kind of been a bit stalled there, so I imagine Harrison will not have any defense against Zaitsev should Zaitsev get anywhere close to him onto the pit straight. Fortunately, of course, for Harrison, his steering seems to be absolutely fine. He was still acing the corners, so he's just a sitting duck down the straight. But this place is all corners, apart from one section of the track, as he's flashing his headlights as well, just ahead. Can maybe get a top 10 out of this, but it's more likely that he's going to be dropping back rather than moving forwards.
I must say, Sam, I've never seen so many of our drivers in the YouTube chat before the meeting's over. That's never a good sign. It's never, ever a good sign.
Well, they like our commentary.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that that's the reason. Let's go to bed telling ourselves that that's the reason. But it has been a high rate of attrition. To be honest, I'm not that surprised, only because of the layout here at COTA. It's so technical and there's so many chances to go for a kind of 50-50 move. It really does encourage you and draws you in to making sort of 50-50 moves, and there's a lot of places where it really does bottleneck up. So I know that, you know, if you've been taken out, you're automatically going to point the finger at the driver you've made contact with, but a lot of it can be down to the circuit layout itself as well, to give the drivers their credit.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and it's a now circuit.
Now.
Oh, you're trying to get on side, aren't you?
No, I don't.
You're right. There's a lot of kind of narrow sections where you got left, right, and that does cause some problems. And of course, that hairpin as well on turn 1, as we saw in this race 3, really chaotic. It's getting tight for the lead, however. Ascher has gap's just been going down a bit, and Cedric is close. We've got. Oh, is this going to be the last lap? I'm genuinely not sure. Well, the white flag hasn't come up on our screen, so we would just about make it, won't we? Oh, here we go, white flag. That's what we want to see, like 1 second to spare or something, so there's a bit more time for Cedric to catch, but, wow, he gained by 2/10 on that lap. Also, Guinness really flying along, he's almost caught up to lightness, so, yeah, I think he'd have to take a mistake here from the Dutch driver, because turn 1 was the big overtaking spot, and he survived that.
That is, well, that's not, maybe Martin Ascher almost could have gone out the throttle there and got the checkered flag. It's almost as Barney the flagman had a white flag in his left hand and a checkered flag in his right hand and didn't know which one to wave. But Martin Ascher now has really got to try and hang on for one more lap here at the Circuit of the Americas. And look at Jack Sedgwick. He smells blood here as well. There is an opportunity to go for it. We're coming into the stadium section. There's been a lot of action in this part of the circuit as well. Martin Ascher will need to place that car, that Impulse Racing Audi, in the perfect spot to keep this World Championship driver behind him.
Yeah, Cedric with that World Championship license, one of the best drivers in all of iRacing. 8,000 iRacing, he's got to try to keep him behind. And the final corner is an opportunity, but Cedric wants to be a bit closer than this. He's still 3.5 of a second behind, and it is coming closer here for Ascher. However, this penultimate corner, it can so easily go wrong. He just needs to make sure he doesn't pick up a slowdown.
Yeah, it's obviously very sensitive here, particularly on these modern circuits. It's very easy to do that, to step over track limits. And the iRacing system does punish you, but looks like Martin Ascher is going to hang on. Yes, he does. The Dutchman wins here in race number 3 at the Circuit of the Americas. Jack Sedgwick, a very impressive second place, with Norbert Leitner rounding out your podium ahead of his teammate Corentin Guinez. And we'll wait for the rest to follow through. Vasily Zaitsev 5th, Jason Cooper 6th, and Persky winning, shall we call it the Marco medal for Austrian drivers in ARLTC.
Congratulations. Also top rookie. That was only one rookie. When I say a rookie, I mean first ever meeting. So very well done to Pershka, and hopefully it's the first of many as well.
Call it the Klein Cup, the Christian Klein Cup.
Yeah, yeah. The Toto Wolf Cup.
Ah, yes, the Wolf. Toto's
Wolf. Oh, nothing really.
No, there's not any alliteration there. No. The Susie Salver Susie will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing
she's
COTA
not
would do,
Austrian, though, is she?
Well, her husband is, though. So maybe TOTA be like, I'll name it after my wife.
Yeah. Sure. She's probably got Austrian citizenship, dual nationality.
Yeah, she's from Oban in Scotland, a beautiful part of the country on the west coast.
I did not know that.
There you go. Now you do. Well, let's have a look then at our results for this third and final race here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's certainly been an eventful meeting, a few high-profile drivers dropping out of contention in more than one race, but been a dream meeting really for Kieran Harrison. 2 race wins to start the meeting, and then finishing 13th in this third race. But Martin Adschert, what a drive for the Impulse Racing driver from Holland, wins by 0.3 of a second under a lot of pressure from Jack Sedgwick, but hangs on for the win. Norbert Leitner was third, rounding out the podium for HM Engineering, with Corentin Guinez, his teammate, in fourth. Vasily Zaitsev rounds off a great third race in fifth, followed by Jason Cooper, Roman Persk, Terje Flatten, Daniel Nagy, and Igor Shcherkov rounds out the top 10. So a good race 3 for the Wild Animals team. Wojciech Suridovic was 11th, followed by Mark Woodhouse, our AM class winner, and 12th overall. Kieran Harrison was 13th, followed by Sergei Glazkov, Marcel Fritsch, Toby Ward, Bannon Glover, Marcel T, Jack Tingy, and Kevin Marshall rounds out your top 20. And drivers who did not finish: Martin Shirley, Fraser Smith, Ben Gregory, Adam Bath, Roman Botler, Mikel Garcia, George Simmons, Oyston Hereford, Damien Harris, and Craig Williams. Sam, that is a lot of drivers, more than a third of the field not making the flag.
Yeah, and the vast majority of it happened on the first lap. I wonder if maybe we could get like a blimp view of that first corner, because a lot happened. I mean, I won't try to analyse it, but I think it would be good for everyone to see it for themselves, because yeah, it was just streams of cars coming in, and you have one driver who doesn't brake, and then all of a sudden it's craziness for the others. But I think, Peter, we might be able to have an interview with one of our drivers.
Well, that is it. They're on the game tonight. Our drivers. We have Fraser Smith and Sam. I will hand over the VIR pole sitter to you.
Yep. Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome.
Fraser, great to have you in the commentary box. Decent evening tonight. I mean, 16th, third, and then 22nd. Of course, that non-finish in race 3, certainly the blemish. Let's take it through race by race. Race 1, a little bit further down the order for qualifying than we usually see. After all, you did take pole position at Virginia, but 13th on the grid. I mean, what was that just because of this circuit? Because of course, this place we don't race at too much.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, me and Mikhail, my teammate, were both, obviously we were using the same setup, and it was just quickly cobbled together in practice, and I don't think it was really that great. So we both struggled. It was probably the best I could have done, and the tyres just were a bit gone at the end. But yeah, in the first race, I don't know if you'd have seen, but me and George Simmons were having a good battle. And after through all the S's, we were side by side, came onto the back straight, and I didn't see Martin Adschert on my left, and I just drifted across into him, and that was the end of that, basically. So that's why I came 16th there. Race 2 was good though.
Yeah, I mean, starting up in 4th position was always going to be a good opportunity on that one. And then you had that terrific battle with Damien for the race lead. I mean, what was the pace difference between yourself and Damien? Because it seemed like Kieran just about had the pace on both of you, but it seemed like you two were very, very evenly matched.
Yeah, it was good. We were always close. But I think sort of 5 or 6 laps before the end, when Damien overtook me, when I looked at the tyres afterwards, they seemed like they looked alright. Maybe a bit high on the tyre wear, but it seemed like final 5 laps I just pretty much didn't really have much more to give. Final sector, I was just understeering a lot, and him and Kieran just drove away from me, to be honest. So I'll take a podium.
And then race 3, forgive us for not knowing exactly what happened to you in race 3, but was it something to do with the start? Because that turn 1 seemed like an absolute melee down there.
Yeah, I got through turn 1. I just basically, I was, I think, 4 or 5 wide going into turn 1, and I just went as far as I could to the outside, off the track, and got through it. I think I gained 9 or 10 positions, which was great. And then lap 2, I think, coming into the arena section, Ben Gregory behind, just he didn't see someone else sort of rejoin in, which is easily done if you're on like a single screen. So he just caught someone who was coming back on, which took me out, and that was that. But I think I did quite well to get that far, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, that podium in race 2 still something to take pause to the next few rounds. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Fraser?
Yeah, yourselves. Obviously, everyone at Apex Racing TV and Apex Racing League putting this on. It's great, and all my teammates at Full Sem Racing had a good Nürburgring 24-hour. One of the cars got a podium, so well done, and thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Fraser, and we'll see you back next week.
Yes, yeah.
Fraser Smith there, like I said a couple of times, with a 16th, a 3rd, and a 22nd, albeit that 22nd, a non-finish. Won't score any points for that one.
Yeah, not the Sunday best, but mind you, race 2 was good to get on the podium there for Fraser Smith. Well, why don't we get our race 3 winner, Martin Ashert, into the commentary box with us, because his performance in race 3 was absolutely superb. Martin Ashert, our race 3 winner, congratulations, that was a super drive.
Thank you. I must say it was a bit lucky in turn 1, but that's, I think, this track. Kieran and I were just talking about turn 1. It's like looking really wide, but if you're in there on the apex, it's actually quite tight, and that gave me a bit of an advantage.
It kind of gives you a false sense of security. You think, oh, it's really wide, and then all of a sudden, as you rightly say, it's all of a sudden not wide at all. Talk us through that last lap, because you just took the white flag rather than the checkered by a matter of seconds, and you've got a World Championship driver in Jack Cedric behind you. Talk us through your thoughts on that last lap, which you defended beautifully.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about it. If I slow down for a second now, is it a checkered flag or not? But yeah, for the show we say that, right? But he was so strong, and I was losing a bit of tire, and I got a little bit scared. Heart rate was up, and then I ran out of fuel 10 meters before the finish line. So interesting, but yeah, he was really strong on pace, and if I didn't have that extra second advantage, then we would have had a really nice last lap side to side, I think. So yeah, but very happy with this. Really amazing result.
Well, congratulations. Now, Martin, of course, you're one of our many Dutch drivers in the field, and back in my previous life, before I was a commentator, I used to travel to the Netherlands all the time, and I used to love the snack bars, the croquettes and frikandel and all these sorts of things. What's your choice when you go to the snack bar?
It's amazing that you talk about it. Been in the team, it's a German-based team, and they always love the frietjes, as we saw in the Netherlands. But yeah, I love the croquette a lot. That's the best one, and then especially you need to go for the Van Dobben one. It's
of course,
yes. Special kind. Yeah. That's I can totally agree with you on that one.
Van Dobben, only the best. It's the Rolls Royce of croquettes.
Yeah, just message me if you want to know the right brand.
No, I interviewed Larry Ten Voort a month or so ago, and he loves would you believe this? He loves the McCroquette, the McDonald's one.
From the McDonald's one. Yeah, it's okay, but it can't match the other one.
No. But I tell you what, if I can drive like him, I'll eat them every day if I have to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, Martin, congratulations on a super win here in ARLTC. It's a big honour to win in such a competitive championship. Who would you like to give a shout out to here on Apex Racing TV? At first, the whole team, we had a great weekend at the N24 as well, so they put in a lot of effort, and then we have a couple of sponsors I would like to thank. So Void Hair Art, check him out, he makes some really cool drawings. Should definitely grab a nice one in.
I'll make an order about it. And we have WinFin, give some merch, and at last we have let me think. That's
Van
a shame.
Robin Croquette.
no, no, it's not the Van Dobbe Croquette. Yeah, I'm at a loss. Let's think about this for 1 second more, and it is, of course, Sim Racing Cockpit. We just recently had he recently joined us to support us, and yeah, big shout out to those guys as well.
Fantastic stuff. Martin, thanks so much for coming in to chat to us, and congratulations on your win here today at COTA.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys, and thanks for having me.
So that was Martin Ascher joining us in the commentary box. Sam, I will hand you over to our championship leader and double race winner here today in Texas.
Yes, we have got Kieran Harrison now with us in the commentary box. Congratulations, Kieran. I cannot remember the last time that a driver won both race 1 and race 2. Was that your first time claiming both of the first 2 wins in an evening?
Yeah, definitely. I've never done that before. I kind of got really lucky in the first corner in the first lap. I think I was 8th by the end of lap 1 in race 2. So I knew I had a good chance then. I was a little bit unsure whether I'd catch Damien and Fraser, but I just kept pushing, and then they fought a little bit, and it was just enough in the end.
What would you say was maybe the difference between yourself and maybe, the likes of Fraser tonight? I mean, was it a little bit in the S's in the first sector? Was it the final sector? I mean, where do you think that the difference was?
I think there was a couple of corners I felt really strong. There's turn 1 and then the other hairpin later in the lap. I've noticed this is my first time on this track since I got triple screens, and it's actually a major advantage. You can actually see the apex now. I never used to be able to. And then the penultimate corner as well, I felt like I was quite strong there compared to a lot of guys. I was getting a run into the final corner to try and make a move.
And were you having to think about the 1Xs at all? Because I think you picked up the 3 penalty points in every race, but you never got the 16. So I mean, was that in your mind at all?
Well, race 1 I was okay. I think I only got 4, but then yeah, as you say, the other 2 I was way over 10. Race 3 I was right on the limit straight away after I had a few crashes on lap 1, so I had damage and I was right on the incident limit. So I was just trying not to get punted or punt anyone. It's really hard to keep the off tracks down on this circuit as well, because it's so inviting. It's kind of like Spa in a way with the tarmac runoffs, where it's so inviting to try and carry that little bit more speed, but it's quite sharp on the off tracks.
Yeah, you can say that again. It is an absolute mare around this place. Your championship leader is looking strong, so I've updated the points, and you are 260 points clear of your own teammate, because Corentin's gone up 3 places tonight. He's up into 2nd place in the championship. So even if you did have a spectacular loss towards the end of the season, you at least your teammate would be next in line to you would take it. I imagine it's pretty tricky to believe that you're this far clear. I mean, it's been apart from that Indianapolis crash, it's been a near perfect season.
Yeah, I think that's been the main difference I've had with a lot of people, is I've actually managed to keep the DNFs down. I don't want to jinx myself. Yeah, I've only had the 1 in Indianapolis, which in a ways I've been lucky. I've been kind of careful, but I have had some heavy contact that I've gotten away with, like not having the wheel fall off like a lot of people have. But yeah, it's a really nice position to be in at this stage.
Absolutely, and best of luck for maintaining that for the rest of the season. Kieran, is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank, of course, everyone at Apex Racing, HM Engineering, and all of my teammates.
Awesome. Thanks for coming to have a chat with us, Kieran, and best of luck at Summit Point next week.
Okay, thank you.
Kieran Harrison, they're your championship leader, like I said, with a healthy advantage. I mean, if he didn't turn up for the last 3 rounds, which can't be dropped, is it the last 3? It might be the last 2 rounds, which can't be dropped. I'm not quite sure. If he didn't turn up for them, then you could lose the championship. So if something happened in the real world, if he had some PC issues and he wasn't able to get online for a couple of meetings, that lead could quickly diminish for him. But as long as he does it alright for those final few meetings of the seasons, it should be looking very good for him, Peter, as we have alluded to a couple of times tonight, and of course a few times this season, because he just has been that good.
He really has, and of course Kieran's such a modest guy, isn't he? He's been absolutely imperious this season. He's always been up the top of the timesheets in practice. Every time we sign into the session before we go live, it's always Harrison #1 at the top. And likewise in qualifying, he's had a lot of pole positions as well. And I'm a firm believer that you make your own luck, and Kieran's definitely been in that position, I believe. And I think he thoroughly deserves it. And like you say, it would take something very strange to happen now for him to lose what would be a second consecutive title. Well, myself, Peter Mackay, and Sam Fitzpatrick will see you again next time in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Do join us next week, 7 p.m. GMT, for the next round of the championship at Summit Point, Virginia. Another Titan technical circuit, one where there's sure to be lots of action. One not to miss. We'll see you there. Good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series,
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.